to Ascended Masterz Spiritual News Network. I'm your host, Hevy Maahes. I want to thank everyone for tuning in today. This is the very first episode. Give yourself a hand for being here. Yes, we are happy to have you. And for those of you who don't know what this show is all about, this show is all about breaking down the metaphysical, breaking down the spiritual connotations and meaning behind some of the latest stories, some of the news updates, and also some of the ancient teachings, bringing them before you and putting them in a way that we can make it very easy for you to understand. We have many different subjects on the show. Today you'll get to see some of those roll out for the first time. Some you'll get to see as the show progresses and the season progresses, unrolling new segments, and feel free to add your intake on it as well. Like what you guys want to hear, what do you want to see? You know, any questions that you have, because we'll be eventually going to the questions, answering a lot of those questions here on the show. And I want to thank everyone who is rooting me on. You know, I would have never done this show if it wasn't for people saying, you know what, Hevy, we need for you to go ahead and start a show. You know, I get asked a lot of questions, especially in my comments and on many other platforms and in my emails, very esoteric questions, a lot of spiritual questions, metaphysical questions. So I decided, you know what, why not just turn it into a show? It's only right, you know. So without further ado, let's get the show started. Who is God to you? Take some time to think about that for a second. You know, everyone has their belief on who God is, what God is, and where God is. Is he a man sitting in the heavens? Is he inside of you? Are you God? Many of those questions will be answered throughout many of these shows. We'll get to that. But the first topic of the day, I really want to deal with, is AI becoming a God? Have we relegated many of our questions to AI? Have we put it in the place of being something that we should revere? Current AI systems are primarily based on pattern recognition and statistical inferences from large databases. You know, machines acquiring a form of consciousness or original thinking is debated among experts in the AI and the neuroscience fields. There are concerns that an AI technology capable of original thought could shake humanity to its core. AI is making impressive strides in many areas, including speech recognition and generation, natural language processing, image and video creating, planning, decision making, etc. Yet, one function it has yet to successfully acquire is generating purely original thoughts. The concept of original thinking in humans is deeply intertwined with consciousness, emotions, experience, and intuition. While AI can generate novel outputs and solutions by combining existing knowledge in unique ways, it does think in the same way humans do. It's more accurate to say that AI can exhibit emergent behaviors or produce results that weren't explicitly programmed. However, whether these qualities can be known of as original thinking is a matter of philosophical debate. Current AI systems, including advanced machine learning models, are primarily based on patterns, recognitions, and statistical inferences from large databases. This is why they excel at tasks like language translations, image recognition, and general text based on training data. However, these AI systems do not possess consciousness, self-awareness, or the ability to engage in truly original thinking. The possibilities of machines acquiring a form of consciousness or true original thinking is debated among experts and in the AI and neuroscience field. If it were to happen, it would require breakthroughs beyond current understanding, integrating sight from brain science, cognitive science, and computer science, Predicting a timeline is speculative at best, but many experts believe we are severely decades away, if not longer, for even the potential of such a development. Original thinking can be defined as the ability to generate novel solutions or ideas without being explicitly trained on them. In that case, some AI models are already exhibiting this capability to a degree, especially in the realm of generative models. However, for AI to achieve a form of thinking that mirrors human originality and creativity will require breakthroughs in understanding of human consciousness and the conditions, and then translating the understanding into computational models. Predicting a timeline for such an advancement is speculative, but significant progress could likely be made in the next few decades. In work environments where AI plays a significant role, they notice a decrease in people's reliance on spiritual and religious beliefs. This poses an intriguing question. Does the omnipresence of AI in certain aspects of your life reduce your need for spiritual guidance or change how you view it? These varied perspectives encourage a deeper exploration of how spirituality and the expanding role of technology interact with each other. The context of your interaction with AI is critical here. Now, let me explain how perspective matters. Your perception on AI, as compared to human abilities, plays a crucial role. When AI is seen as a helpful tool, you might be more inclined to accept it, particularly in moments influenced by spiritual consideration. However, when AI starts assuming roles typically handled by humans or religion, it could lead to a sense of detachment or a shift in your religious beliefs. Another angle to consider is how constant exposure to AI impacts your sense of identity and self. Does being surrounded by AI make you question what makes you uniquely human or your connection to a higher power? This aspect is particularly relevant in an area where AI is becoming increasingly sophisticated and very persuasive. The intricate blend of AI, spirituality, and decision-making is not straightforward. It's shaped by how you interact with technology, your perception of it, and the evolving nature of human cognition in the age of AI. Understanding these nuances is essential. As AI becomes more integrated into various facets of our life, it helps to comprehend how technology and spirituality can coexist and mutually influence each other. So, what does the future hold? These studies opened up avenues for further thought and discussion, showing why it's important to consider AI's impact on both your spiritual journey and daily experiences. The intersection of AI and spirituality is a dynamic part of life, influencing your choices and your worldviews. As you continue to engage with technology and explore your spiritual side, it's important to stay open to the new ideas of conversation. This openness is the key to recognizing and understanding the significant impact these two powerful forces have in life and your well-being. Consider how much time you're spending on AI. How many questions do you ask it about spirituality? Do you ask it about God? Do you ask it what the future holds? Do you find yourself waking up, jumping on your devices before you jump into the presence of what you deem the Creator, the divine? Many do. Has AI become a God to you? And now for our first segment of the show, we're going to switch over to Goddess Switch Codes in her segment that we like to call Tell 'em with Tara.
God is switching the code here with Tell It with Tarot, and I will be doing a general collective message for the week utilizing tarot as my tool of divination. I will also be breaking down the energetics of that tarot card and how it can have the potential to manifest in your life for the week. Now, do keep in mind that you do have free will and that tarot does not dictate your life, but it is an energetic influence that is going to be surrounding you, and how you use that energy is up to you. So let's get into it. So here we have the Page of Cups, which is the personification of water. This is the faculties of our emotional body, the faculties of our energetic exchanges, and the innocence of our childlike expressions or newness in life, right? In places where our energy exchanges may bring us joy, love, happiness, sensuality, and sexuality, but also bitterness and endings and frustrations and need of forgiveness or grief. Right. And so it has many different personifications of emotions and how you emote that into your daily life, and that perhaps you are being called to channel more your psychic abilities or emotional intelligence, or pay attention to what your emotions are telling you. Maybe you're being called to be more reflective or mind your temperament, right? Perhaps to get your groove back. Perhaps you are a water sign in the zodiac, which is Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio, but you don't have to be those signs specifically when the Page of Cups is coming out. This can be a message of a love offering coming through to you, or this can be just the need of the expression of self-love. This could also be that forgiveness is being exchanged between you and another person to bring reconciliation. Whatever it is, the embodiment and the personification of water is moving through you in the energetic exchanges in your life at this time to really allow you to become more aware as to how you can be like water. The Page of Cups is adaptable. She can fit herself into any container, and she can speak the languages of the sea. Therefore, she's able to hold memory and morph herself, or shapeshift herself, if you will, into the embodiments of that which she wants to contain in her vessel. Being able to receive subtle messages from your subconscious mind, from your emotional body, and from the dream realm to come up to the surface, to act as a divine messenger to bring things into your awareness. The Page of Cups also taps into the unconscious realm of the collective. And so this is very much talking about that which is like hidden from your consciousness into a space of deep wisdom where your intuition guides you through. Also associated with the asteroid Juno and with marriage. Also connected with childbirth. So in some cases, this can definitely be a message about pregnancy. Nonetheless, she is talking about allowing your youthfulness and innocence to be the guiding voice for your explorations this week, and go into things with a childlike mentality. Forget what you think you know and allow yourself to learn in a new way, to be able to contain the wisdom and the guidance for you.
Now, the mysteries of the tarot. Where did tarot come from? If you were to listen to Google or to someone, they might tell you that tarot started in the 13th century or something to that effect. But in all actuality, tarot goes back further than that. It actually goes back to the lands of ancient Egypt, right? It goes back to the lands of ancient Egypt. The word tarot actually stems from an older word, a combination of two words, terui. Yep. And ter deals with seasons of time and spans of time, actually durations of time. And the word rui deals with getting away from something, and particularly getting away from something bad, escaping something bad or tragic. So this is the purpose of tarot in its forms of divination. In all actuality, we can see remnants of tarot in ancient magical papyri that existed in ancient Egypt that come from the holy books, from the archives of Hermes. Some of the oldest go back to that. Originally, instead of starting off with cards, tarot actually was written on male palm date leaves. And on those male palm date leaves, you would have a combination of 29 male palm date leaves, which was actually explicitly written about in some of this ancient magical papyri. And it was attributed to the goddess Isis, the lady Isis. And her first time performing what we know of as tarot dealt with her husband Osiris. It actually took place when she was instructed to call upon the name of Ra, and she was instructed to write the names of the gods on 29 male palm leaves. And in doing that, this incantation would be done. And what she would do, she would throw the palm leaves down, right? Utter certain prayers and then pick them up by twos. And after the one that was remaining, she would receive her omen. Her omen would be after the one that was remaining. And Isis was instructed to pray and then pick the leaves up by two. And the remaining of those leaves, that would be her answer. The remaining leaf would be her answer. So this was one of the earliest forms that we have mentioned of something that is very similar to tarot, which is actually the origins of tarot in itself. Now, the 29 is very important. I know now that we have 78 cards divided, the 22 and the 56, these are divided, right? The 29 was important because it also goes along with the 29 Coptic letters. And now this 29 was a very important number, right? It's a very important number in a lot of ways, right? Because 29 is said to be the number that bears the heaviest karma, right? It's the number that's said to test a person's spiritual growth, by taking them through trials and tribulations. It's also the number of warning. A person who's born under the number 29 must make a conscious effort to try to dilute and redirect their karma. And that's typically done through positivity, through works, through their disposition and their heart space. This is typically when it's done, especially through optimistic views. This is a way. And the number 29 also kind of deals with the Hebrew word shea, which means to turn, but not just to turn around and go the other way, but to really turn upward. It's a number that is aspiring you to ascension, a number that is trying to take your trials, to cause you to go into an ascended space. And this ancient Egyptian word, ter, right, which deals with a duration of time. We also know that even the deck is basically divided into four, which represents the four seasons. You have the cups that represent the summer seasons. You have the wands that represent the spring season. You have the pentacles that represent the autumn season. And you have the swords that represent the winter season. Now, when pertaining to the number 78, in which the new deck has been modernizing and has made its way up to, with the 78. 78 is also, has its energetic value as well, just like the 29 does. 78, if you take the numbers 1 through 12 and you add them up, it's going to equal up to 78, because that's the number of the universe. 78 is the master number of the cosmos. So when you're reading a tarot deck, you're basically having the cosmos and the fates all in your hands. And we know that the tarot is sometimes called the 78 blades. And these blades were really takes you back to ancient Egypt, which deals with these palm leaves. So you can kind of hear that in that. But also 78 is a number that deals with karmic liberation. It deals with karmic liberation, occurring through evolution. This karmic liberation occurring through these evolutions and these cycles. The same way the earth kind of goes into these cycles, the cosmos move in a particular cycle. And as we go through these different cycles, the universe in itself is evolving, so our lives are affected by the evolution of the cosmos. That's why as above, so below. But also that 78 is tied to the Tehillim, or the Psalms 78. And if you were to read Psalm 78, you would see that in the very beginning, it's one of the wisdom psalms. It actually starts off in remembering the words of the ancestors, remembering the words of the ancestors. And this is very important, because when you're giving readings, or when you are giving warning and instruction, it should always be based off of the wisdom of the ancestors and the wisdom of the ancients. This is a very important thing. And tarot cards are always placed on a table, and that table represents the foundation in which even the stars, the backdrop even of the stars, it also represents like an altar where the offering is being made and the utterances are being presented. And 78 is also the number for accomplishment. In Hebrew, you have many words when dealing with gematria that deal with the number 78. The name Havaya, which is another form of how people say Yahweh, is also connected to the 78. The word shore, when you think of an ox is connected to the 78, because the cards become like an ox. They become the worker. They're like the worker. You're using them to do the actual work, and also we have another word, lachem, which deals with bread. And as we go into more tarot readings daily and more telling with tarot, we will definitely cover more and more and unpack more and more when it comes to tarot. I hope this segment was influential and informative to you guys as you go throughout your day. Take this information with you and bring it into your being. The more you know, the more you grow.